I'm explaining a film from 2023 titled The Bricklayer. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the content. A man called Victor is shown in the movie's opening moments fleeing Thessalon, Greece. As scheduled, he meets Greta, a German journalist, in a hotel room. Greta receives some top-secret CIA documents from Victor that reveal important information about America. He refuses to answer when she asks how he obtained these documents. He abruptly takes out a revolver while she is snapping photographs of the documents. He kills her without showing any remorse, saying he wants to be the one to reveal the truths. Following this, reports claim that Greta may have been murdered by the CIA due to her persistent and courageous criticism of them. Since she is the third journalist to be slain in a single month, this has sparked protests around Europe. The Greek Deputy Foreign Minister, Kostas Leontaris, says Europe won't let the CIA act like the Wild West anymore. Meanwhile, at CIA headquarters, an agent Kate watches CCTV footage from the hotel where Greta died. Victor appears to be quite adept because he made the difficult investigative choice to stay at a motel without cameras. Kate locates a man called Victor in pictures from a rail station using specialized equipment. Victor was believed to be dead for a year and a half, and he used to work covertly for the CIA, establishing a connection between the Russian mafia and Greece. When she tells her employer, O'Malley, he is startled. In the meanwhile, Steve Vale poses as a bricklayer in order to obtain employment. O'Malley and Kate inform him about Victor's survival. At first, Steve doesn't accept it since he believes he saw Victor's death. O'Malley, however, gives him a photo of a Russian man Victor is said to have slain 2 years prior. This guy's photo was found where Greta was killed, showing Victor wanted to reveal secrets. O'Malley asks Steve to help catch him again. Steve remembers his connection to Victor's family while working at night. Unexpectedly, he gets shot at. Knowing that Victor dispatched these men, he fights back and vanquishes them all. Following this, Steve consents to rework with O'Malley. The following day, Steve and Kate board a military jet and fly to Greece, where they hope to evade detection as the Greek government opposes CIA presence. Kate learns about Victor's history and the terrible death of his family while on the journey. When they reach to the airport, a military car is waiting for them. Steve advises making a stop at a friend's house to pick up disguises and supplies. Patricio provides them with everything they want, including an opulent automobile. Kate wonders who's paying as they check into a fancy hotel in Thessalon. Steve goes to the chapel he and Victor used to go to while she takes a shower. He leaves a phone where they used to exchange things. Then he meets a CIA agent named Tay, and tells him why he's there. Tay is surprised, but helps Steve find an old friend named Sten. These days, Sten owns a beach club. When Steve reaches out to him for information, Sten informs him that Victor has passed away. When Kate comes to bring Steve up, Steve resists the guards and runs off. She admits she has been following him with a gadget during their journey. Telling Sten why Victor is on a retaliation mission against the Russians, he has placed one similar on her, enabling them to track him. To cease causing trouble, Victor wants $100 million in Bitcoin. A communication from Victor, threatening the US government, reaches Tay at the CIA in Greece in the meantime. Steve and Kate, however, manage to locate Sten's home. While Sten is gone, Steve asks Kate to go through his house for proof, but he chooses not to tell Tay. They find a laptop with a map of a market, but they don't understand its importance. Steve notices a suspicious brick, and finds secret documents hidden inside a pillar. They also find a phone belonging to Greta, a journalist, and a newspaper article about the CIA, by a guy named Alikos Melas, who seems to be Victor's next target. They battle a henchman who enters, strong but ultimately vanquished, after hearing a disturbance. Patricio gives them directions to Alikos Melas the following day. Using Sten's laptop, they head to the market and divide up to find Victor. Patricio keeps an eye on Alikos in the meanwhile. Steve, who is hunting for Victor, gets in touch with him. Victor demands retribution on the person who revealed him, even when Steve reminds him of their agreement. He acknowledges deploying assassins after Steve and accuses media of being CIA spies. If Steve stands in Victor's way, he threatens to kill Kate. Kate notices rioting taking place in a different area of the market. Steve is mistaken when he follows after someone who resembles Victor. When the actual Victor appears, he murders Alikos. Steve shoots at Victor, as he runs away. Despite Steve's efforts, he couldn't catch Victor, but he knocks him off his motorcycle. Patricio finds a tablet on the motorcycle, and takes it for information. Victor is pursuing a UN ambassador, as Steve reveals in a picture, and he claims Victor has a list of CIA targets. Kate wishes to inform O'Malley, but Steve believes O'Malley might be assisting Victor. Nobody in the CIA has his trust. Kate becomes upset upon learning that Steve spoke with Tay. Steve recalls Victor's disagreement with a mission to assassinate a politician. Victor was adamant, despite his attempts to save his family. After telling Tay about the tablet, Steve tells him he wants to save Victor and won't give it to him because Victor was a buddy. Kate notices Steve receiving a call at the hotel from an unidentified number. She believes Victor has an ulterior goal that goes beyond money, punishing the CIA. She suspects O'Malley too for sending Steve. She finds a missed call on Steve's phone, and thinks it is from Victor, suspecting Steve had let Victor escape. At Patricio's place, they find him dead. Steve thinks it's a trap by Victor, and Sten's gang comes to kill them. After Steve gives up to save Kate, Sten consents to let her go, but Steve surprises everyone by refusing to back down. Together with Sten and his group, the trapper vanishes. Steve tells Kate they were intended to assassinate Costas, the foreign minister, and she is astonished yet relieved to find him alive. But he and Victor had both chosen to resign, refusing to carry out the instructions to murder the minister. The Russian mob learned about Victor's cover story, which infuriated the CIA. Steve believed Victor couldn't be saved once Patricio passed away since he had murdered their friend. O'Malley sends Kate a note stating that Victor will receive $100 million from the CIA. When O'Malley visits Greece, he asks Kate to deliver the package, but Steve refuses, worried about her safety. So O'Malley fires Steve from the CIA. Steve realizes O'Malley's true intentions, who gives Kate a flash drive with the bitcoins, and tells her to go to a place Victor specified. After doing what Victor says, Kate receives a phone that has an image of a structure on it. Steve asks for the flash drive and removes her trackers as a surprise. He heads in search of Victor. Victor claims he still has to kill Costas and frame the CIA for Patricio's death as they begin the Bitcoin transfer. Unexpectedly, Steve finds a bomb and pulls it aside before it detonates. Steve is hurt from the explosion, but he witnesses Victor attempting to run him over. He ducks inside a garbage can till Kate shows up. Steve flips his car while pursuing Victor, but Victor isn't inside. Steve suddenly runs over to where Costas is speaking after recalling Victor's vow to murder him. Among the media, he spots Victor brandishing a covert weapon. Steve smashes the stage, making Victor fall. Steve apologizes for not protecting Victor's family, and asks him to surrender. However, Steve inadvertently shoots Victor as he moves suspiciously, and the cop subsequently shoots Steve. Later, Steve awakens in the hospital, where O'Malley and Kate are there. Victor's tablet was located, according to Kate, but the bitcoins were not. Because they led Costas to believe that the CIA had saved him and averted a war, according to O'Malley, they don't give a damn about the bitcoins. They also discovered proof that discredited the CIA. According to Kate, O'Malley stole the bitcoins. Steve surprised Tay at her apartment in the evening. She's leaving town to get away from what's happened lately. Steve discovers another vinyl record that Victor gave Tay as he is playing one. It dawns on him that she had indeed met Victor. Soon, men arrive at Tay's place, and she has a gun pointed at Steve. It turns out Tay gave Victor the hit list for bitcoins. She leaves, and her hired assassins come. Steve uses explosives hidden in his vinyl records to take them out. When Tay drives off, Kate arrives and stops her. Kate has to shoot Tay when she attempts to run them over. Steve knows it was the correct decision, despite how difficult it is. Despite being barred from Greece, Kate informs O'Malley about Tay's complicity in Victor's offenses. Remarkably, O'Malley decides to promote her rather than fire her. Following Steve's recommendation, Kate declines the promotion and departs from the CIA. O'Malley was the one who exposed Victor and created all of Greece's difficulties, therefore she didn't want to deal with him. Victor's family perished as a result of O'Malley's activities. At last, Steve resumes his work as a bricklayer, stating that he finds fulfillment in molding bricks. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.